I'm shooting on the ZV1 Mark II, and I'm out and about in search of movie locations, places where movies were shot long ago in the past. Is the Victorian Turkish bath, which is now a Chinese restaurant, ladies and gentlemen. But is it also the location of a Hollywood movie?
New clothes, you're a very extravagant lady. A good excuse, lost luggage, and good therapy, a spending spree.
Agatha, filmed in 1976, released in 1977, starring the wonderful Vanessa Redgrave and the legendary Dustin Hoffman.
Would you care for a kiss?
No.
Also Timothy West and Timothy Dalton before he got his license to kill and turned into a secret agent. Here are the Turkish baths on film, but I couldn't really risk going in there and filming people with their clothes off. There's the hotel. And here's the hotel on this gloomy winter's day. People are going in through the revolving door. So let's go in through the revolving door. And this is where a compact camera can be very useful because people don't notice it. Look at that, Dame Vanessa's pushing it the wrong way round.
Good evening.
Evening. I would like to book a room.
On the way I searched for the dining room, remembering the ceiling, but it had been remodelled. Now they wouldn't have destroyed that historic ceiling, but they seem to have covered it up. But fortunately, 20 years ago I visited this hotel and I took a snatch of video using my Casio Exilim point-and-shoot camera. And here it is. The staff were very friendly and said I could go and look at the ballroom. There are many scenes in the movie set in the ballroom. And here is the ballroom today on this dismal northern winter's day. Here's the plaque that shows that the movie was shot here in this room.
You're suffering from constipation?
Yes, I am. May I ask what brings you here?
Mystery and intrigue, of course, being Agatha Christie, and infidelity and deadly deeds. Here they go, sniffing each other out. There are some square pillars, and here are some square pillars, but I don't think they're the right ones. Anyway, here's a side street, and there's a side street.
He said your other appointment had been cancelled.
I tried to find this street. I thought I recognized it, and I thought it might be this one, but somehow it doesn't quite match. Dustin Hoffman rescues Vanessa Redgrave and takes her off to a street, and I did find that one. And here their taxi comes to rest, and here's where I think it came to rest. And look what history there is just across the road. This is where J.R.R. Tolkien stayed when he got trench fever in the First World War, while the war was still going on. Now here's a tangent, if ever I saw one. Suddenly they're in Howeth, home of the Bronte family. And here's Vanessa Redgrave wandering among the graves. Redgrave, goodness me. Musing about how Cathy and Heathcliff killed themselves or each other or whatever it was that happened.
Mrs. Neal.
But why did they come all this way? It's a good hour from where the rest of the movie was shot. And they only make a passing reference to it in the film. In fact, 99% of viewers wouldn't even know this was Bronte Country. The Bronte parsonage, where they lived, is right next door to the church. But I wonder if Vanessa and Dustin particularly wanted to come here. And you might think that Bronte was in the air because it was just 12 months after this that Kate Bush brought out the song Wuthering Heights, and then everybody was thinking about Cathy and Heathcliff. At the end of the adventure, they all pack up and go home on the train, as you should after an adventure. And researchers indicate that this is either York Station or possibly Bath, so if any of you live in those places and recognise that small sandstone-coloured building in the background, do put a comment below. It only remains to say that nearly all of this was shot on the Sony ZV1 Mark II, which I'm now convinced is the right camera for this kind of content. Better than the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, better than phone, and better, ladies and gentlemen, than the RX100 Mark VII. Why? Because the RX100s have no wind muffler. And if you don't have something fluffy on top of a built-in microphone, then half the time it's unusable. Also, the RX100 Mark VII has no shoe. It has a microphone socket, but where are you going to mount it? Some of the RX100s have a shoe, but no microphone socket. So to get the shoe and the microphone socket, it's the ZV1 Mark II. Why don't Sony make provision for putting a fluffy thing on top of all their built-in microphones? It's a no-brainer.